Well, welcome back to our author spotlight today. We have another author or co-author of our anthology, our 25 Women, 15 Country anthology about immigrant women. And today we have a lady who always comes to visit us from the future. Her name is Pat. Pat is actually already a published author. She's already doing things, huge things in the space out there, but she just decided to come and bless us with her presence and grace our pages with her story. So, Pat, welcome from the future. How are you doing today?
I'm very good. Thank you, Shenna, Dr. Lulu. Yeah, and I'm delighted to be here. Thank you.
You're very welcome to our midst. So, Pat, what made you decide to tell your story in 2,000 words? What made you decide to tell your immigrant story?
I think because I started life as a little girl with big dreams, but not much opportunity to fulfill them, it touches my heart. If I can help just one little girl to give her a bright future, that's good enough for me. Yep.
Yay! I don't know if you guys can see Pat and I are trying to match here, you know. So I love that.
I
I love
thought I'd
that.
go with a slightly exotic
No,
theme, more
no,
than
no.
boring.
I'm a girly girl. I like to wear dresses, and I guess Pat likes to wear dresses. So, Pat, tell me. So, tell us a little bit. Tell the viewers a little bit about just maybe not too much, but what is was it popping Tom or what did you call it? Tom something. There's a phrase you used.
Oh,
Sorry,
oh, whinging pom.
that one. That
Yeah,
one. What is
whinging pom. It was quite very amusing that you didn't understand what I'd written. It means basically, because I'm obviously English and I've emigrated to New Zealand. Whinging pom is a very derogatory term that is used for English people who've gone to New Zealand to settle, but try to make it England and complain about everything that isn't the same as in England. So complain about absolutely everything, the weather, the food, the people, everything.
so?
And so the
I
term,
have to ask, is this a British? Is this an English trait? In other words, do they do the same thing elsewhere or only in New Zealand?
I think they probably do the same historically. I think they probably do the same thing elsewhere, which is which is why
Oh,
which is why the British have not traditionally been particularly well liked over the world. Understandably, the colonies, it wasn't a good thing really. Anyway, so that became a very derogatory term in New Zealand. And when I got there, I was absolutely determined that I would never be referred to as a whinging pom. And so luckily I never have, well, not to my face at least. So that's pretty good.
well,
I
this is so
have
good because
always felt that I wasn't a traditional British person, probably because I grew up in a poor family, in a council house. So I was already on the bottom rung, which I think puts you on a different level than people who are up here, who are, the natural empire builders, if you like. I was never in that I was never in that league. So probably it was easier for me to assimilate without moaning.
wow. Well, first of all, Pat, I could listen to your accent all day. I love
Thank you.
your accent. And yes, I was born, bred, buttered, and slightly burned in Nigeria, but I had never heard the word winching palm in my entire life. So I was like, I'm going to ask her about it. And also, if you're watching this or you're going to end up getting the book, you will see that Pat mentions it but doesn't explain it, which is fine. I like that because that
Yeah,
makes you get curious and go and look it up. But I had never heard that before because obviously I'm not British and I'm not going to go to New Zealand and act like I'm hoity-toity. Oh no, it's not going to happen. But Pat, this is a testament to the kind of person that you are because you've got heart, you've got soul actually. Like if there was a black version of Pat, it'll be you because you accepted all of your sisters. I mean, we're not all black. There are Chinese, Taiwanese, Brazilians. I mean, there's 15 whole countries in the book. But you have never, at least to my observation, acted any like better. And I say that because as a black woman living in America where racism is like the water that we drink, it is
yeah,
important to
yeah.
that you do not exemplify the average white woman, who we call in America, we call them Karen. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. But to be honest, this is going to sound probably crazy, but at times I'm very embarrassed to be white because of the way that some white people behave. I kind of think, oh, no, 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 that's not me. And I don't want to be judged in that same ilk. As regards to all you fabulous ladies on the project, I feel like the little person down here because I left school at 16 with no qualifications. I've kind of worked my way up in the world. You're all super duper doctors and all these fabulous things. So I feel like I'm the inferior one in this group. And I'm just so glad that you've welcomed me and you're all so fabulous.
I was just going to ask, I was just going to ask, do you feel that way as a thought in your head, Miss Pat, or do you feel that way like you've been treated that way? Because I don't.
Oh, no, it's all in my head. You're all fabulous.
And you know what? If it's in your head, then it can be coached out of your head because that is true. But I like that you're saying that. I like that you're saying that because coming from Nigeria, a country where literally the white man as an entity is worshipped, this is so good to hear a white person with soul and a heart for telling the truth and just kind of letting the chips fall where they might. I mean, the book is not about, it's not for doctors. I mean, we have doctors, we have stay-at-home moms, we have authors, we have a combination of all kinds of people. But I think we're all united by one thread. We're all immigrants. And
Yes.
so that's why, we're like, oh, just come on in, take a seat, have some Eba and Gary while you're at it, have some Nigerian food or something. And so talking about food, that's a good way, that's a good segue to about the British food and food in Fiji and New Zealand. How is that working out for you?
It's good. I mean, I've fortunately never been a very fussy eater, so I've always kind of adapted. Um, yeah, I went to Fiji when I was very young or relatively young, and so I just absorbed it all. I mean, in your 20s, you're like a sponge, aren't you? And I'd never traveled, so that for me that was a huge thing. I was suddenly in this country with all these people who didn't look like me, but their hearts were the same as mine. So for me, that was great. And the same in New Zealand. I'm a foreigner in New Zealand. I might look the same. The majority of the people might be white or Maori or whatever, but it's a foreign country. I'm very different in many ways. So yeah, and I love that difference. I love the fact that we're all different, but you're naturally drawn to people with the same heart, which is why all of us ladies in the project are interacting so well because we all have that same heart, I guess.
I
Yeah.
agree with you. I completely agree with you. And then to even just think that we all met a little over 4 weeks ago, and we've all
Yeah.
bonded on with loss, we've bonded with joy, we've bonded with triumph and pain, and oh my goodness! But isn't that truly what it should be, though? Shouldn't we all
Absolutely.
be about lifting each other up and just elevating each other's vibrations and energy? Shouldn't that be what it should be anyway?
I just think, what is the point in us all being alive and in the world if we're not here to help each other? Why else are we here? You know?
Mm. And then, of course, the fact that proceeds from the book are going to be donated to the Malala Fund is just like that.
One.
I knew the ladies were going to vote for a charity. I just didn't know which one. But something in my
No.
mind, was like, yeah, if anyone's going to get it, it's going to be Malala. I personally was for Girls on the Run, but
Right.
whatever. I'm a across the board. I'm a passionate feminist. I'm all about equality of the genders and the sexes and whatever's. And I'm so happy that we got these women together to just come and tell their stories and just let it go. Just let go of all the shackles that kind of hold us down. So
Yeah.
now that you've written your own piece of the book and you've uploaded your pictures, how are you feeling right now? How are you feeling about the project?
Oh, I'm just so excited. I just think it's wonderful. I think you're so clever to have thought of the idea. It's just brilliant because that idea could have just laid dormant in your mind and you would have died and it would never have been done. And this way, you're leaving such a wonderful legacy and you've brought all of us women together, which is an incredible feat, I think. Because in ordinary course of events, we would never, ever, well, I would never have met any of you. A lot of us would never have met. So yeah, it's just meant to be. I think it's absolutely wonderful. I'm very excited. I'm telling everybody about it. People are getting
I
sick of
know.
me talking about it.
And that is so true because you have been on TV, you've been on the radio, you've been on a magazine. I was like, Pat, what's going on? Don't leave us behind. That is so amazing.
It's
Yes,
just,
yes.
yeah,
The-
it's just,
awesome.
it's just a wonderful, wonderful idea. Yeah, it's just a great idea.
And you're just sucking it all up. I love that because I read the article and I was like, oh, look at her just out there, just putting it out there. But that's the way it should be. I mean, knowledge should never be to be kept to yourself. Knowledge is
No, no,
to be shared some more and shared some more, if there's such a
yeah,
thing. So
yeah.
now that we're kind of getting towards the end of the interview, is there anything you have to say to the little girl Pat, the 16-year-old Pat, the one who left school, which is your words are left school. I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you drop out of school? Did you just was it an intentional thing? Did you get married? What happened? Why did you leave school? And what do you have to? What would you say to that Pat right now, that little girl?
Okay, the reason I left school was because I grew up in a really poor family and further education was just not an option. It was no one in our family ever had, no one had ever thought of doing it. Had I been stronger at that age, I would have probably said, actually, I want to do this because I'm smart enough, because I was pretty smart. But it was just,
You are.
it was just,
You
it
are
was just,
pretty smart. You're a
it,
published author, and your book was multiple bestseller. Are you kidding me? No, honey, you are pretty smart. You still are. Yeah.
but at that age, I had no self-confidence, and I just did what was expected of me. I just went and got a job in the bank, and part of me had always wanted more, but I never had the opportunity. And then when I was 19, I met the man I married. I didn't know him at all. It was a big mistake, but just did it. And then life just takes over. When I was 41, I decided to see if I had a brain. No, I was 44. My Lucy was little, and I decided to see if I actually had a brain. So I signed up.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say
I signed up for an Oxford Open Learning course and did an English A-level, which was a 2-year course. And I sat up night after night till about 4 a.m, translating Chaucer and blah, 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 and reading Maya Angelou. That's how I first met Maya Angelou. And I passed in 4 months. So that was good. I realized I did have a brain, but I've never allowed myself to get regretful or bitter that I didn't have more opportunity, because I've had a great life and it's all been fabulous. So yeah, that's why I left at 6.
to the little girl, so to the little Pat, what would you say to her?
I would say never give up. That's the most important thing. Never give up. Whatever life throws at you, never give up. Just keep going, keep trying, keep being sunny and smiley. Keep trying to be optimistic even when life throws you disgusting things. Yeah, I'd just give her a huge hug, I think, and tell her it was going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If only if we could just see the future when we were young and just know that we're going to be okay. It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
It is.
So wow, thank you so much. So just never give up. That's it. Just
yeah.
And you know what? For those who are watching, Pat is actually what, 70 years old? Yeah, nearly 70.
Next month, 70.
Next month. Oh, wait, are you a March baby, Pat? So am I.
Oh, really? I'm the 25th. When are you?
Oh, I'm March 11. I'm March 11. I'll be 52.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll have to say.
Yeah. So where can the viewers find you? Where can they find your book, your work, especially your book? What's the name of your book?
My book is called Daisy, and it's a historical family saga, and it features racism, poverty, lots of the things that I've encountered, not necessarily personally, but in my life. And do you want my website? Shall I give you that?
Might as well.
Okay, it's www.patbackley.com. Very easy.
And the good news is it's Pat Backley at yahoo.com. .co.nz is on the Zoom screen here, but
Oh,
but email, but your website is patsbackley.com. Okay,
yes.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, well, well. Pat, is there anything else you would like to add? We've got about 5 minutes on the clock, so you're still on.
Oh, I don't know. I wrote lots of notes about things I was going to say to you, but now I've kind of forgotten really. I just think that I just want to say what a fabulous job you're doing. You know,
Oh,
to get all of us ladies together and knock us all into shape to perform in the way that we want us to perform is a great feat, because we're all mature women who've got, you know, our own egos and whatever, and you're doing it so gracefully and diplomatically, and it's a wonderful experience. I just love it. Yeah, just love it.
and I can just say thank you so much. I know Dr. Manisha put me on the spot when I said something about what a beautiful, thing that she came to share. She was like, "Oh yeah, but it takes one warrior woman to see another warrior," or something like that. I was like, "That's so sweet. That is so sweet." Pat, thank you so much for your heart. I mean, just your graciousness and you're always smiling. I mean, we met in a Facebook group for authors. And then we just kind of, and I thought you were a guy. Remember, I thought you were a guy, and you're like, "No, I'm a girl."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But you took it in stride. I not that I know you enough, but you took it in stride, and you're just like, "Oh, whatever, next," And I was like, "Oh, what a nice person." So, Pat, thank
Oh,
you for
yeah.
always being my cheerleader. You and Judy Paulin, I don't know how to say her last name, have always been my cheerleaders from that group. I don't know if I should say the name of the Facebook group or not, but you've
Yeah.
always been there for me. So thank you so much. And thank you for doing this. I truly, truly appreciate it.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm thrilled, and it's enhanced my life hugely. So thank you.
Yes, and because you're coming from tomorrow, every time I say that, tell the people where you live, why I always say you're coming from the future.
Well, I live in New Zealand now, but I used to, before COVID, I used to spend my time divided between New Zealand and the Fiji Islands, which are like next door, 3 hours away. But obviously, COVID stopped that. So I'm just in New Zealand at the moment.
I want to come visit, Pat. So I'm going to make you
Oh,
put it out there and tell everybody that I'm invited so I can come. I want to come visit. Fiji has been on my list forever. Fiji.
oh, it's wonderful. And the people are the nicest people in the world. And they have very little, but they have huge hearts.
And that's all that matters. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Pat. I'll take that as a yes, you can come. And I'll make sure that it happens.
Absolutely.
Allows us. It's going to happen. It's going to
All
happen.
right.
Well, Pat, thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from her. She's at www.patsbackley, BACKLEY.com or patsbackley@yahoo.co.nz. My name is Dr. Lulu, aka the Mom Nutrition. I'm the creator of the Warrior Women Project. You say what that is? What? It is a book, an anthology of 25 women from 15 different countries telling their immigrant story. Join us, like our page, it's called the Warrior Women Project, and follow us and just stay tuned. And proceeds from the book, we're going to sell 50,000 copies, are going to go, portion of the proceeds to the Malala Fund. All right, folks, so long, farewell, peace, love, and soul. Bye, Pat.
Bye. Thank you.